game. All well and good. You actually can't do it right then and there. Stay in the fight. Wait till your objective is secured, and then extricate yourself from the game and get your gun looked at. Now, the transition. There's a lot of ways to do it. Everyone's got their own personal preference. It goes down to where you have your pistol and how you have your weapon slung. Now, if you're using like a 3-point sling, well, it's kind of difficult to drop your thing. Most guys try to sling it behind them. Now, I can't do that because my 1-point doesn't work quite that well for that. Now, you guys see how my rigs roll. I either wear this, or I've got this thing pretty much dummy corded to a D-ring right here. So all I have to do is drop it, it just hangs there. You want to do it smooth. Do it slowly at first. Everyone's got their own way of doing it. Now most of us, it's easy to have it on our belts or on our legs. A couple guys have a cross draw. So for that, now you are in a different situation altogether. Is that how you always roll with that?
I have a hip holster.
Alright. The simple part is, you either, with the weapon, it's always going to be something like this. Bang, bang, bang. Oh crap, not working. Me personally, I like to do it like this. Drop, just let go, come back. I usually don't snap this thing. I usually have a serpent holster, not this. Pull, out, boom. The other way to do it is, if you had it, I used to have it right here. So I just drop, out, pull, pop, down. But it's simple enough. Bang, bang, bang. Stop it. Drop, pull, out.
And if you're fast enough, when you pop that out, as you're popping that out, you're going to punch your shot out. I mean, because you just punch it out and you pull that trigger. Because that's for law enforcement, that's huge for the holster weapons. If you're going from an MP5, if you're an FBI agent, you're MP5, and then you drop that thing because it malfunctions, and you pull that gun, right here, you're shooting. If your target's there, you are punching those shots right into it.
Keep in mind, you know it malfunctioned. And when you know it, you pull the trigger, which means there's someone there that is trying to kill you that you have to kill. You have to try and kill them right back. Really? No one got the Firefly reference on that one?
I got it totally.
Someone tries to kill you, you try to kill them right back. When I would pull from here, and you guys the cross draw, this is pretty pertinent to you. Pull out, boom, 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 boom. There's no reason why you can't just pull, pop, and fire. Even if you don't hit the guy, it's still sending rounds his way to give him pause. It's going to cause him to drop back and take cover. Even if he fires, he's probably not going to be as focused. Look, no one is able to completely focus. Even the suicidal cannot completely focus on their shot when there's rounds coming their way. Almost never. If there's rounds coming back your way, your aim's going to be off. Use that to your advantage. Out, pop, 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 pop. Transition out farther to a more precise aimed shot. But don't stop, don't hesitate from firing here. If you have to, once you drop, pop, 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 pop.
You guys practice with your pistols.
Give it a shot. And remember the same thing. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
If you're
Don't
shooting,
worry about looking good.
Yeah. Another thing, if you're shooting and you need to get to that, you're not guiding this down. You're literally just. Okay. It's not going to hurt you. If it taps you in the ball, suck it up.
Pop, 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 drop.
You're just like pop, pop, pop,
Sure,
drop it.
you learned it that fast in the military, didn't you?
I started very slow. I practiced it. I'm tell you right now. Most privates, Lance Corporal, up to Lance Corporal, don't learn this. You know why? They don't have a secondary. They do not have. Not everyone has a secondary in the military, despite how you see it in the movies. Some guys.
A lot of it's optional too.
You think it has to be rated for a sidearm too? Just to carry one?
It depends. Depending on your command. If it's available, and your commander wants you guys to have it, you're going to have it. MPs, a lot of times will have that secondary weapon. Because that pistol is actually technically their primary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But in theater, they'll carry a rifle.
Now the thing with you, I mean, you need a holster, and you don't have one on your vest. I mean.
I have one in my
Yeah, but I
locker.
mean, it's just, I know it's going to be difficult for you because you don't have a holster and you're just kind of pulling it out and it ships on you. But practice with your holster.
And the thing is, don't cheat.
Yeah.
Practice with if you roll with it snapped, keep it snapped.
And a lot of time in law enforcement, because you're decked out in law gear here, a lot of they aren't Velcro, actually. All the law enforcement holsters, unless you're on a SWAT team, a CERT team, or anything like that, your pistol's going to be on your hips. And it's going to be left or right. and normally it's going to be on your strong hand. And when you pull that out, you're either going to have a 1, 2, or a triple retention holster. A 1 retention holster is a button, and you're going to slide it out. A double retention is a snap and a button. The third retention, which a lot of people are using now, is snap, button, rock, pull. And that's a lot of motion, and you got to practice that. But that's what law enforcement uses.
The thing is, their role, keep this in mind, law enforcement trains a certain way because they train to work alone. There's one guy, them alone. The reason I'm not going to law enforcement primarily because I like working as part of a team. That's why I'm choosing the fire service rather than law enforcement.
What if you drop that and your gun isn't racked yet? Do you just roll clip?
You should. That's your stupid fault for not having it racked.
It's racked when you put it in your holster on your way out of the fob.
Guys, normally, let's put it this way. I don't have an AK or anything, but let's go over this way. Before you go out on a mission, rock in, ready to go. Same thing here. You would That's what you do every time. You always have that round in the chamber. Real world.
I mean, now, if you're not prepared, once you're cleared and you leave base and you're going out, if your shit isn't racked, then that's your own fault.
Now, there's a couple of times when there is an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Now, me, personally, my rifle was always racked. The minute that door closed up on that striker, we'd all be like, all right, face it in, rack them. Me, I actually, depending on the mission posture, I would only rack one of my sidearms. Notice, I said one. Oh, I had a burner piece. It was a Browning high power. I would have that thing racked in the chamber before I had my M9. Can you guess the reason?
Because it's more powerful.
No, they're both 9 millimeters. They can't trace the Browning high power back to me. I find a canal, that thing's gone. I had to drop someone, and they say it looks like it's a bad shoot because even in the military they're doing this bad shoot crap. They say, oh, if you feel threatened, shoot. Yeah, great. We still have to think about that crap, and it's bullshit. We should never have to question whether or not we made the right decision firing. If you fucked up, guess what? Your lieutenant's going to let you know. Your platoon sergeant will let you know. Hey, asshole, see that woman over there that was nursing your kid? Can you tell me why you decided to double tap both the heads over there? That guy's going to get hemmed up on war crimes because I guarantee you he didn't see a threat. But, to give you a perfect example, I lost a damn good friend of mine in Habanilla. Woman came to the gate of the fob, started clearly in labor, freaking the hell out. She's down on the ground, they're bringing people over, they're bringing the coroner over, the med surgeon ain't there yet, the coroner's starting to look at her, she reaches underneath the robes and pushes the button. Boom! They put a pregnancy-shaped, belly-shaped bomb on her. I heard about it. 2 hours later, a woman started freaking out at the gate of my fob. The minute I saw her hand disappear, I pulled out my sidearm and I put one right between her running legs. And oh dear God, did everyone have raised bloody murder about that one? I could just, there were some opportunists there that were like, oh, I saw him, I tried to tackle him, I'm going to try to do war crimes. Like, you could see them like their promotions flashing before their eyes. Then I just said, with my weapon still out, lift your fucking rope. Lift the fucking rope. About 15 pounds worth of explosives with nails and ball bearings wrapped around it.
They don't pull any punches. They'll do it with kids too.
If you guys ever go down range, and you guys ever join, as a principle I taught my Marines, when in doubt, act. When in doubt, act. Even if you come out wrong, they say you're wrong, it's better to be tried by 12 than carried by 6. You can explain yourself to a judge and a jury, to a prosecutor, to a commanding officer. You can put your side of the story forward. Fucking Undertaker doesn't care. He don't care what your story is. He just knows you're dead. Don't matter. When in doubt, act. You might have to go through some shitty times in your life because of it. But you're still alive. And who's to say that one time you don't act, that one time you hesitate? Who says that's not the one time that they have figured out your rules of engagement to a T, and they have it just to the point where you have no time to respond when you identify the threats. Act. Getting back to that, that's a bit of a tangent right there. Most of you guys, thankfully, probably never have to make that decision in your life. Trust me, you don't want to.
Shitty decision.
Like Marine barracks, Lebanon.
Yeah.
Those guys weren't even allowed to have bullets in their rifle. They had their magazines.
Who,
They have them outside their weapon.
who knows what this guy's talking about? Marine barracks, Beirut, 1983. A guy drove 280 some Marines, died that day because of shitty ass ROE, and they knew it. Fucking Hamas, Hezbollah, they fucking knew it. They knew every inch of that ROE to know how they could get that bomb. They drove a semi truck right up to the barracks. Boom. Almost 300 Marines gone. 2 rifle companies, half of a battalion, including the headquarters company, gone. How many families? How many orphans, widows? Because someone decided to fuck up and do shitty ass ROE. And at the time, you got to learn to think. The thing was, who's to say that if they had ammo in their M16s, they could have stopped it? It's a big ass truck. Big ass truck. They might not have been able to stop it, but they might have.
Could have gone down trying.
I'll give you another example. Mosul. These guys had 6 seconds to act. They're up in a guard tower. They've got their weapons. This cement mixer truck just starts burrowing through the freaking the little Jersey barriers set up staggered to slow the vehicles down. Now, this is what they could have done. They could have taken cover, hopefully rode it out, dropped them on a lip. Because that thing wouldn't have blown up there. It would have gone past them into the compound and blown there. They stood, and you can see this on the video. They stood, they brought their weapons up to bear, and they fired. Their last act on Earth was pulling that trigger and pumping rounds into that guy driving that truck. Set it off early. How many Marines and Iraqis did they save? They were both awarded the Navy Cross. Who knows where that is in the hierarchy of military awards? It's number 2. Distinguished Service Cross, Air Force Cross, and Navy Cross is number 2. Just short of the Medal of Honor. They made the right call. Lesson learned probably from Beirut. Anyway, back to transitioning. We're getting way off on that one. Work on it, guys. Here, practice it. Who's got their secondaries?
If you got a secondary, practice.
Drop, down, pull. Practice your trigger pull as well.
Now, also on your trigger
For
pull,
the record, if you have one of these things, don't have a chamber. You do not dry fire these gas blowbacks. You will screw them up.
another thing, when you pull that trigger, do not slap the trigger. Squeeze the trigger. Okay? Let me see your position.
Hey, can I clear this?
Go for it.
There's this gas with brakes.
What spring would doesn't work?
What I talk about, listen, what I'm talking about, you're not slapping that trigger like crazy. You are literally squeezing. You don't have to go all the way out. You can squeeze it off closer. Okay, because you start slapping that trigger, your shoot time's going to go way
One way you
down.
can think of, guys, is think of it just like you're closing a fist. That's the way to think of it. That's a proper motion, like this. You're only moving this one. That's the movement you should be making. Squeeze. Boom, 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 boom. All you do is tighten your grip on that right there. That's really that's the way to do it. Slow, steady squeeze to the rear.
Safety. I heard the motor.
Slow, steady squeeze to the rear. When you do it, make sure if you roll snap, you snap your thing. You got to kind of dumb out the roll snap.